Yo, chat, how we doing?
What's up, everybody?
Wait a little bit, let people get in here.
Have you? I haven't made a bracket yet. Have you guys, or is this going to be?
I've made 4 brackets in the bracket competition that you introed me into last year.
What did you finish in that last year? I heard it was pretty good.
I did tie for third place, I want to say. Tie for third or second.
Was that out of like 2,500 people?
Yeah, it was out of like 2,500 brackets, so it was chill.
I filled out one bracket, but I'm in multiple pools. But I only do one bracket.
I also heard the guys on the NBA radio basically calling you a fag if you fill out more than 2 brackets, and I was already at 4. So.
I've been in that league that I put you in last year for probably 15 years, a while, since college. Have never sniffed like payout ever, and you do it in your first year. It kind of angers me a little bit.
I felt that vibe from you last year when I won.
And same thing just happened to me in this big Survivor league I'm in for NFL. I got one of my buddies into it. I've been in it since the beginning. Never come near it. He split first last year. I just cannot get it. So if anyone needs a league, I'm your guy, because apparently anyone I sign up wins.
Yeah, I think I'll have fun with it this year. My big call, I'll just, skip to the lead right away, not bury it, is just Michigan State versus Michigan. Right? Michigan State versus Michigan. That's what I want to see happen.
How do you feel about Michigan State, Caz? I know how you feel about Michigan. I think everyone feels the same.
Sparty. I heard Mike Krzyzewski was on. I think he was on McAfee the other day, and he said the funniest thing because him and Tom Izzo are good friends. And he talked to Tom. He goes, Tom, everybody calls you Mr. March. A better name would be called Mr. April, because that's when you win the national championship. So I thought that was pretty, I thought that was pretty funny. Like, oh yeah, you can get to March, but you don't win championships. So I thought that was a good dig at his old buddy,
Coach K.
Yeah,
is Coach K? He's not doing the Team USA stuff anymore, is he?
No, Steve Kerr, the coach of the Golden State Warriors,
absolute worst coach in NBA history.
Yeah.
I mean, as proven by like benching Jason Tatum off of the Team USA team.
This is coming from a big Golden State fan.
I'm a huge Golden State fan. I'm just a Steve Kerr hater through and through. The only reason he won championships on the back of pure talent, just like he did in his playing career.
Right. He made some big shots in his playing career.
Yeah, he made a few good shots, right? I'd also argue if you're getting sagged off of because Michael Jordan's on the floor, like if you're an NBA player, you should probably be able to make those shots, right? Just like I watched every single Warriors game from like 2005 to 2025 with intensity, and so many coaching decisions. Can't make a rotation to save his life. Right. Basically, at the time when he's doing those championships in like 14, 15, 16, that time frame, like what are you not going to put in Jarrett Jack at backup point guard? Are you not going to put in like Mo Spates and David West at like backup slots? Or are you not going to start Klay Thompson and Draymond Green and Steph Curry? Like, what decisions are you really making? Hey, here's the play, everybody. We're going to run an elevator screen, and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are going to sprint across opposite sides of the floor behind Andrew Bogut and Draymond Green screens every single time.
When it works, it works.
Yeah, when it works, it works. Speaking of it works, Duke is going to beat Siena.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I love the. I think Siena. I think Jerry Mack. This is his like first and last year at Siena. I think he's going to get the Syracuse job, and if he doesn't, they're crazy. He is Syracuse basketball. He's proven that he can win games in college basketball as a head coach. He was a former assistant there. He was the point guard for 4 years. Won a national title. Bring Mr. Syracuse back to Syracuse basketball. And by the way, I hate Syracuse basketball, but Jerry Mack should be the head coach.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta. I don't know. It's getting weird. Like you're gonna get the players that have been around 15 years ago are now solidly stepping into the role of coaches. The ones that can do it, and they kind of need to go back home, right? Like a lot of these, same way with like Kentucky, if they can get I don't know who would be a retired Kentucky player that's out of the NBA now that's looking for a coaching job, but Tayshaun Prince, some shit like that. Like Kentucky needs a new coach really, really bad. I think the route to take there is to give the shot to somebody that's an alumni. I'd like to see a lot more alumni coaches at this point, especially with the teams that have won championships and have proven that they can't hire worth of shit. Also recruiting, right? Recruiting, NIL portal, transfer portal's big now. Like the landscape has changed on recruiting. You listening to some random coach, or are you listening to a player that's 10 years retired out of the NBA that's telling you, I will get you to the NBA. I know exactly how I did it. I know everybody there, right? I'm your guy. And this is my alma mater. So in my opinion, we'll see a little bit more of that here over the next little bit. But we ready to get started on this, gents? Pick a bracket?
Yeah.
Could we just because I keep hearing this and on the previous stream, Kurt just brought it up, the difference between like the 1 through 4 seeds and the drop off after that are just like insane, I guess, compared to years in the past. So there's not a whole lot of expected upsets there. Would you mind, Blue, if we did, rather than by region, like the 1 seeds and the 2 seeds and the 3 seeds, just so I can kind of wrap my head around that?
Yeah, you won't. I don't know who's 1, 2, 3 overall. I can go through like the 1, 2, 3s on every region first if you want.
Yeah, just like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pretty easy, right? East over here, you're definitely going Duke. You're going to Arizona. Gonzaga, I think, is solid enough to get into that second round. Purdue, I'm always going to pick. UConn over Furman for sure. Michigan State, 100%. See over here, where's my 3, my 4? Arkansas, as mentioned on the last stream, I don't give Hawaii a snowball chance in hell. They're going to be surfing back home here real fast. And then Kansas, I'll take every one of these. If you want to just issue me a bet that this will not happen on the side, I'll 1 ETH this bet. Like this is happening.
Okay.
Right?
Let's I'm actually making like a paid for submit bracket here. My brain doesn't work that fast. All right. Duke.
Basically every 1 through 4 seed, I'm going to push through in the East and West.
Okay. I mean, Kaz, we're not worried about, and I mean, Florida Florida's definitely the lowest 1 seed, right? And there's nothing to worry about first round, I would assume, with them.
Yeah, if you scroll down here.
The 1s and 2s historically like almost never lose, so you could just click the 1s and 2s and move them on.
All right, so that's going to be
South. I'd definitely say Florida, Michigan, as I mentioned, is probably my favorite to win. Let's see, Houston. Yeah, definitely go through Houston. Iowa State, Virginia. Out of anybody that could upset, I think Hofstra has a chance over here. Troy may have a chance with Nebraska, right? These two could get tricky. So I'd give you one of these two being in the upset bracket, but I don't think you're getting a 1 or a 2 upset. Illinois versus Penn. They're huge favorites. I just can't see that not getting covered. Virginia definitely, but like Hofstra, I could see getting there. Right? You want to hop a Hofstra in, or even want to hop a Troy in. That'd be my dark horse picks on this side of the fence. Other stuff, I think you're just solid on Florida and Michigan and Houston and Iowa State, excuse me. But you get past these four, right? And I don't think these upsets will happen, to be fair, but I'll put them in there and leave them. But you get past this, and I think you can have some stuff happen. So if we scroll back up here and we go, okay, let's start just looking for where do we think an upset could happen, right? TCU, Ohio State, to me, that's a coin flip. I've watched some Ohio State basketball this year. I was thoroughly unimpressed. If I'm picking a team in Ohio to get out of the first round, it's probably Miami, Ohio State over Ohio, and that's a crazy pick. I just don't like Ohio State. I don't think they play solid. I don't think they have good size. They're not that fast. I could see TCU hopping in. It doesn't really matter. Whoever gets through this is losing to Duke. St. John's, North Iowa. I don't know enough about North Iowa. In all honesty, I have not watched a single one of their games. I've watched some St. John's. I think St. John's will have this covered, but again, Caz would defer to you if you want to chime in here and give me some North Iowa lore.
So it's Northern Iowa. Northern Iowa's a solid team, but St. John's, they won the Big East regular season and they won the Big East tournament.
That clicks.
Rick Pitino's their coach. I like St. John's a lot. I think they kind of got hurt. They're not a betting Rick Pitino.
He has those players full of hookers and coked up to the max. They're not losing this game. They need to party for another few rounds. Check the tape, TB. Check the tape. Go look up Rick Pitino and the Louisville party. Speaking of Louisville, Louisville with South Florida here. I'm definitely taking Louisville.
That's a questionable pick.
You think South Florida's hopping?
Let's talk about some of these. I feel like
let's talk this through then. Give me the case for South Florida versus Louisville, and then steelman your argument here, Caz.
Louisville's missing one of their best players. He's not going to play.
I forgot about that. You're right.
Yep. Louisville basketball lost one of their best players. It was announced today that they don't expect him to be back. That South Florida team can really play. I think I'm not sold on Louisville after the announcement that today.
That opened at 7.5. It's down to 4.5 right now.
Yeah,
that's a good upset, right? That'd be a good upset. Now, is Louisville the kid that got caught with like a crazy amount of drugs recently, or is that some other reason that
that's Alabama?
That's Alabama. All right, so we'll discuss that in a little bit. But anytime, if you're going to look through this and you're going to say, hey, I'm picking a bracket, I need to make some upsets, that's exactly the type of thing that you look for, because guys like me that just missed that and took surface level of Louisville watching a few games this year, go and look for what teams have players that were hurt, what teams went deep into their conference championship and maybe had an injury or two that's going to linger over into the first round, might make it a little bit more difficult for them. That's kind of where you're going to find a lot of these upsets. Also, stuff like players that have transferred from one team to another that are now playing each other, that have some sort of relationship experience with the offense or the defensive sets of said team, what they like to run, can give a little bit. Same thing with coaches. If you can find some coaches that went from an assistant coach at Louisville that now at South Florida, that's not factual, but it's an example. That's the type of thing that can give you an upset, right? Michigan State versus North Dakota. I just don't think 14's beating the 3 seed in Michigan State. Again, one of my favorites as a 3 seed, probably my favorite 3 seed to make it into something like the Final Four. Now, here is where I think something can happen. Caz, could you walk us through UCLA and UCF? And what's the spread on that one right now?
Tightened up a little bit. It's currently at 6.5. UCLA's. I'm sorry, 5.5. UCLA is favored.
Yeah, UCLA is a solid team. A lot of people dislike their coach. You might be familiar with him. His name is Mick Cronin. He was the one that had the big controversy. Like a reporter asked him something earlier this year, and he's like, "Why are you yelling at me?" And the reporter just like simply asked him a question. Everybody laughed at Mick Cronin. He's notoriously like a bad guy. Like nobody likes him, and he looks like a bad guy. Like he's got the shaved bald head. Kind of seems like he's got little man syndrome. But hey, he's a good coach. He's led a bunch of teams to the tournament. I like UCLA. I'm pretty sure Kurt liked UCLA also.
Then I'm going counter and I'm picking UCF because any guy that whines over a reporter asking him a question does not have the chutzpah to lead a semi-professional team or a college team. Those guys aren't going to stick behind him when the going gets tough. They're going to not get going. Now,
so what were we looking at with Ohio State with that game?
So Ohio State TCU. I've watched a few Ohio State games, and I just did not like what I was watching. Right, it just didn't strike me as good, solid basketball. They didn't seem particularly fast. They didn't seem particularly athletic. Didn't seem like they were able to shoot three ball well. Maybe the two games I watched were just bad performances. But pull up their record real quick. Give me their record. I bet it's not that stellar either.
Well, this game tightened up too. It opened at 4.5. They opened at 4.5 favorites. It's at 2.5 right now.
Yeah, so that's like a coin flip game, right? In games like that, like TCU, forgive me if I'm wrong here, but that's Texas Christian.
Yep, the Horned Frogs.
Yeah, the Horned Frogs. I'm not going to bet against them. I'm not going to bet for Ohio, right? I'm not going to put Ohio's a football school. They're not a basketball school. This is probably an overranking on them if TCU's pulling that. I'm going TCU. To be honest, none of this game, this Ohio State TCU game, neither one of these teams are getting past Duke. I don't know, on their best day, and Duke probably having a really poor performance still pushes them through, right? So coin flip be had. I'm taking TCU. So if you're looking for something fun there, shout out Landman. TCU's where his hot daughter goes to school, so we're going to pick them.
Just a little bit more on that. TCU, both offenses are decent. Ohio State's got the 16th most efficient offense in the country, but TCU's got the 23rd most efficient defense in the country. So TCU's could lock them down. TCU's not as great offensively, but Ohio State's defense isn't as good either. I like TCU because they can rebound the ball a lot better offensively than Ohio State. And in a close game that Vegas has of that, I think that's going to be the difference is who's going to rebound the ball better. So I had TCU in that game.
TCU beat Florida this year.
TCU beat Florida this year?
Yeah, I'm pretty
sure. You go. That's all the ammo you need. If they could perform on that level, then
yeah, they could play. I think they lost in the Big 12 tournament to Kansas, but the Peterson kid for Kansas had his bet. He had like 40-something points that game to beat them, and then he didn't show up the next game.
They beat Iowa State as well, but that was really early in the year.
Yeah, the TCU can play. They can be a really tough team.
So I like them. You're ahead. Out of any of the 1, 9, or 8 matchups, what are you looking at with the biggest potential for upset? What do you think the weakest 1 seed is, Caz?
It's got Florida.
Florida? Yeah.
I don't think they have a chance of losing this early. They're in the lower part of the bracket.
Well, let's roll down to the lower part of the bracket.
Yeah,
if we take another peek at this, it was Duke, TCU, St. John's, Kansas, South Florida, Michigan, UCF, UConn. The biggest upset here is going to be this Louisville losing to South Florida. Again, Louisville lost a player here today. What was the reasoning on the loss? Was the injury?
I think he's injured. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it might have even been announced yesterday. I know it was like in the last few days it was announced that he wasn't going to play. So
Mikel Brown Jr. will be missing opening weekend, first round game, and potentially second round due to a reoccurring back injury.
Back injury. It was a back. Okay.
The second lead scorer, 18 points per game, and assist leader. Hasn't played since February 28th. So I don't think he must have not played in their conference playoffs either.
No.
How did they do there? Just curious.
I think that team struggled at the end of the season.
And that's morally got to be a blow to the players at Louisville, right? This is young college kids. They're getting told that their star player is not going to be participating in round 1 and 2, right? That's got to at least bring a little bit of doubt into your head.
That game's in Buffalo. Caz, you could make a quick trip to Buffalo, maybe injure the star player, and they'll be out there 1 and 2. And then there you go. You got a lock there.
Caz gonna go up there and just hit him in the knee with a pole as you're walking through the tunnel.
We went to what year did we go? I think 2 years ago. We went to the first round in Charlotte. Is that where we went?
Yep.
Played some ping pong with some of the Texas players. They rocked us. Yeah, man, they're out and about. We could do this. Everything I'm saying is hypothetical in case this kid gets in a bar fight. All right.
For entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, this was not me. Okay, let's move on.
Moving on. Villanova, Utah State. I think this is another coin flip game. Check the spread on that one. I'd probably take Nova.
Yeah, this one was pretty much a pick 'em. Opened, it's still at 1.5. Utah State, Villanova. I believe, Kaz, you were on Utah State, but if you want to talk about that a bit.
Yep, I was on Utah State. That just to go into my notes, this Villanova team got it back in. It's the first time I think since like 2022 they got back in. But Utah State has been playing really good basketball. They have like their conference player of the year on their team. What was their? They have the sixth man of the year on their team too. So they got a guy that rotates off the bench that scores 10 points a game. Their coach is also sounds like he's going to leave, tied to maybe the Cincinnati job. So he's kind of coaching for his future too. They're super efficient on offense, 28th in the country. On offense, 14th nationally in field goal percentage, 17th in assists, 20th in assist to turnover, so they don't turn the ball over.
Okay, hold on. What was their biggest win, though? What was that strength of schedule? Because I can't imagine Utah State had much to play.
So Utah, that's the concern, is that Utah State hasn't faced a top 40 opponent all season.
So.
But I know you're thinking, Villanova Wildcats, they play in the Big East. It was a down year for the Big East. They only got 3 teams in the tournament. Villanova went 15-5. They lost both their games to Seton Hall. They lost both their games. I think they did lose a game to Seton Hall, but they lost both their games to UConn and St. John's. They just aren't on the same level as those two teams. They're decent. They have a good point guard. He's a freshman. He has the highest usage on their team. Their biggest problem, though, is that their starting power forward is out for the season. And that leaves them 2 rotation players that are over 6'6" without him. Their best player, I believe, is Duke Brennan. I'm sorry, not Duke Brennan. Duke Brennan's he's their center. He's 11th in the country in rebounding. But Tyler Perkins sounds like he's going to play power forward as a stretch He's actually a small forward. He's the team's leading scorer. He only scores 14 points a game. So they're kind of like evened out, but now they're missing one of their key players. So I like Utah State.
Yeah, it does not sound favorable.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with Nova. They're going to be small. They're going to have to run and gun, scrap it up.
This is a game that's not going to hurt you in the tournament.
No,
Whoever wins,
I mean,
they're going to lose the next round.
Yeah, this is one of those things where neither one of these teams is coming out of it beating Arizona. All right.
No.
Not going with the strength of schedule of Utah State or the record of Villanova minus power forward and taking down a 1 seed. Right? So, safe pick there. Coin flip, still going Nova. Wisconsin High Point. Something tells me that this could be an upset. I don't remember why, but I remember thinking it when I picked my brackets initially. In 3 out of my 4, I think I picked High Point as.
You remember hearing all last year? This was like the biggest upset alert, I feel like, and they lost. That said, I mean, that's probably why their name is in your mind. That said, Caz sounds like he believes they could pull off the upset.
We're going High Point. You feel free to chime in there, Caz, but I think this is where this 12-5 range, the 12-5, 11-6, I think this is where you can see some upsets.
So High Point can score a ton. I believe like their efficiency on offense are like 67th in the country in offensive efficiency. Wisconsin's defense is good, but it's not like a lockdown D. They're 51st in the country in defense. On the flip side, though, Wisconsin's offense is 11th in the country in efficiency. High Point's defense is 161st. And High Point doesn't play Big Ten basketball. Just going to throw that out there. But High Point can score, and that's what can maybe keep them in this, and you never know. I think High Point shoots.
What's the over?
It's high. I think it's like 160 something.
Holy jeez.
Yeah, like 165, I think.
All right. So you know what that tells me? That Vegas is pulling this is it's going to be a run and gun game. It's a barn burner. And you cannot just say like that's just going to be who has the best night shooting.
164.5.
Yeah, that's what team has the best night shooting. Right? And to me that's not like that's just going to kind of be it is what it is. Whoever shots are going down that night is going to win that game. This is going to be one to watch. I bet this ends up being one of the better games of the first round here, and it has high potential for upset. Do you know what the spread is?
Yeah, give me 1 second. It is currently 10.5 towards Wisconsin.
10.5. We're taking the points and we're taking the under. Taking the points and the under on this one.
165 is a huge number.
Yeah, that's crazy for a college game, especially in the bright lights of the tournament. Right. So I think I'm solid on this one. We're going High Point, Arkansas there. BYU, Texas. You know, I'm always a sucker for BYU. That's like one of the great white Mormon teams, right? Up there with Gonzaga on the year of the white boys. We're going BYU. I don't know much about Texas basketball this year, but I tend to not like betting against BYU because most of the times I've done it, I've gotten my ass handed to me.
BYU is not the Jimmer Fredette BYU that you're thinking of. BYU has got probably the best player in the country on their team. They had another, I can't think of his name. They had another big time player, but he's out. BYU was like at the beginning of the season a top 5 ranked team, and then they lost one of their better players. But they still have the best player in the country on their team. Probably the number 1 overall pick.
Well, number 1, what's his name?
Give me a second because I'm going to butcher it. I should get a phonetic thing here. AJ Debanza.
Debanza.
Yeah.
We're
He's
going
6'9", weighs like 212 pounds. He's a freshman. He's the Ken Palm has him rated as like the number 4 player of the year, and he's a freshman. And the Ken Palm, he's a good ball player. If you see him play, he can score inside out. Yeah, he could be the big time difference in this game.
AJ Debanza to the Utah Jazz. Let's make it happen.
Are you worried about Gonzaga at all?
You know, I kind of like. I don't trust Gonzaga further than the first round. I'd probably end up picking BYU here, especially given that they have a guy that is super star powered, projected to draft high. Right, that kid's got something to play for. Right. I don't know. My cousin went to Gonzaga. I should probably pick them. My mom has a Gonzaga sweatshirt. She's going to rock first round, but I don't trust Gonzaga ever. I know nothing about their team this year. I just implicitly do not trust them. Every single time I try and root for them, I get disappointed. So,
Caz, by you, Gonzaga?
Gonzaga, they're an older team. A lot of experience on this team. Graham Ike still playing. I feel like I've said Graham Ike for 10 years now. Once again, lacing up the high tops to go out there this year. Big 6'9" forward for them. They go senior, junior, and I think they have a couple other seniors, juniors, and then they have some good young freshman talent that comes in off the bench. But yeah, they got some depth to the team. Not a lot of talk about them this year. I think that's because they kind of they played a non-conference schedule that didn't turn out the way that they would have liked. Like Kentucky had a down year. They beat Kentucky by almost 50.
I watched a dozen Kentucky games, and beating Kentucky means nothing to me.
Nothing this year, correct. They beat Alabama by 10 on neutral court.
They beat Santa Clara
Oklahoma.
3 times.
What's that?
They beat Santa Clara 3 times.
They beat Santa Clara 3 times. They smoked Oklahoma, who was a top 40 KenPom team. They did get smoked by Michigan. They lost by 40 to Michigan. Neutral court game. That was their first loss of the season. But they did beat UCLA, who was another good team this year. They do have a bad loss. They got caught off guard by Portland. That was their second loss of the season. And then they lost, I think, the regular season title to St. Mary's the last game of the regular season at St. Mary's. But St. Mary's is a good team, top 25 KenPom team. They lost by 11, but it was at St. Mary's, and it's generally them or St. Mary's the last few years winning that conference. But yeah, they got steamrolled by Michigan. They lost a bad one to Portland. The St. Mary's going 50, trading wins with them isn't a bad thing. But I don't think they got a lot of buzz because their non-conference wasn't as. If Kentucky was Kentucky, you'd be like, oh man, they beat them by 40, and you'd be like, oh, they beat Alabama by 10. Creighton had a down year. They beat them by 30. So you kind of look at those games and be like, oh man, like 2 years ago that would have been amazing, but this year
it's like they beat the teams they're supposed to, and they lay a solid can of whooping on them. But
yeah,
Michigan,
I'm not worried about them getting knocked out early.
You have Michigan as the second best team in the bracket, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, you can't fault them for getting beat by Michigan. You can make a lot about walling out Kentucky, but I've seen Kentucky give up on half a dozen games this year where it seemed like they just knew they were going to lose and didn't play. But
who are you taking, Bruce?
Here's my big one where I'm like, hey, I like Miami, but I don't think I know enough about Missouri to. Is there some info here? Let's look at this.
So Miami currently 1.5 point favorites, opened at 2.5. Should be a pretty decent scoring game. Over-under's at 147.5 right now.
You know what I don't like? I don't like this 5-5 in the last 10. But at the same time, they had good strength of schedule. One more win versus top 25 with one more loss.
Both of these teams lost to pretty much any time they played a ranked team.
Let's look at the injury report here. Marcus Allen, Travion Maddox.
What do you got, Caz? I know you're Ken Palming it up over there.
Yeah, I don't like Missouri. They've lost their last 3 games coming into the tournament.
Yeah, I don't like this 5-5 out of the last 10. That screams I'm not going to have a good tournament.
Yeah.
Miami, Purdue?
Miami, Purdue. Let's just go ahead and work all the way through this one up here. I'm going to go with Duke if anybody wants to see why here. That is why. Right here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know it's chalky, but
also
probably have Duke.
I'm just not going to bet against Carlos Boozer's kid. Right? To me, that's like a heritage play on the best team.
Kids, plural.
Teams there. I'm going with it.
Both his sons play on the team.
Both his sons play in the team? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I'm just
Cam's brother comes off the bench.
Yeah. So we're going Duke on that one. St. John's, Kansas. This is where it gets a little interesting. I should have been busting out these info stats earlier. Apologies on that. I kind of like St. John's here. What's our record? Yeah, here we go. St. John's is 9-1 coming into this. That screams I'm on a hot streak. I'm going into the tournament competent. I can't pronounce a single player's name on this team, and for that reason, we're going to choose them. Look at these names. These are some – this is a Key and Peele sketch.
St. John's is red hot. Kansas is so ugly. They either play awesome or they're terrible. So
yeah.
I like St. John's there too.
Yeah, we're going St. John's there. Michigan State, nothing needed for me to think that. Michigan State is, 11th in net ranking right now. Red hot is South Florida. That gives me a little pause. I did not know that. 6-4. They're 4-0. Where's their last games here? So loss. These are 2 losses I can write off. Michigan and UCLA I'm okay with. This Wisconsin one gives me some pause there. Yeah, I'm still sticking with it. Michigan State. If you're looking for an upset in the second round, this could be one of the ones to watch for, though.
All right. Hold on. I'm behind on my bracket.
And then we're going UConn.
Kaz, in general, I'm just curious, how much do you like Michigan State in this tournament?
I like them to get to let's see, they're the 3 seats are in the bottom part. So they're gonna have to play UConn at some point. That game I think is going to be interesting if it happens.
Are you worried about?
Really look at Michigan State's losses this year. They lost only by 6 to Duke. They lost by 2 to Nebraska. They lost by 12 to Michigan. Bad loss to Minnesota by 3. That was on the road though. They lost to Wisconsin, who's a good team. And then they lost to Michigan and then UCLA, who's also good. I mean, they didn't really have – the only bad loss you would say on that list is Minnesota, and that's not a terrible loss compared to –
I don't like this Wisconsin loss, I'll be honest with you.
Wisconsin's they passed the eye test. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that was a 20-point loss. We'll chalk it up. They're college kids. Can have a bad game. To me, this is a coin flip, right? As
It
the
is.
rankings suggest.
Yeah.
I'm looking Michigan State here just because I really want to see Michigan State get far. I don't think they're beating Duke, but if they do, Michigan's coming out of this. We could get a nice matchup in here, a Michigan matchup. That's if you're a conspiracy guy, that's the matchup to make. All right. If it's rigged games, that's where I'm going. But I honestly, I don't think any of these teams are getting past Duke, and I think Duke's popping in. Arizona Nova, aforementioned Nova team is not that steady. Arizona's taken that one. High Point, Arkansas. I'd love to see what our comparison is on here.
Guys, you like Arkansas a decent amount, right? Or was that?
Arkansas is good.
I mean, they're not.
They're a younger team. That's a caliber.
8-2 coming into this tournament. You're going to take this 10-0 with a grain of salt because who in the hell are these teams, right? Winthrop, come on.
And Winthrop has won some tournament games back in their day. The biggest thing is just High Point can score a bunch, but that Arkansas team's got like NBA talent. They are young, but Calipari's used to coaching young teams. That's what he does. He likes bringing in freshmen and then getting them into the NBA. He was very outspoken this year about how he doesn't care for the transfer portal, and then that these guys are playing until they're 26 years old. He just thinks it's ridiculous. Yeah, I know. I like Arkansas.
What if
I find it hard to bet against Calipari sometimes too.
Yeah.
Right.
What if that were a Arkansas-Wisconsin matchup?
Ooh. I'd love to see the if it was 164.5 in the first round for Wisconsin, I'd like to see it again in the next one. It might be 160 because I think those teams will score a bunch of points again. I still like Arkansas. But Wisconsin, I mean, I don't think you go wrong either way with Wisconsin or Arkansas. It doesn't matter. Arizona is the premier team in this bracket. I don't think anybody, if they have a game within 7 points in this bracket, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, I mean, if you look down here at the teams that have a chance at them, Gonzaga, BYU, Miami, Purdue.
That gets ugly.
None of those teams are beating Arizona.
Correct. But good luck picking who's going to win out of those 4 teams because I don't know.
Yeah.
All of them, none of them can play defense consistently, and they can all score. So who the heck knows?
Where's this? Was it the West? Where's this West game taking place? What's the location for this one?
What round are we in?
That looks like the Sweet 16.
Round 1 and 2, probably at the same location.
If it's West, it might be Portland,
San Jose.
Yeah,
Portland and San Jose. It looks like San Diego. See some San Diegos.
Let's talk about Miami, Purdue. I think Purdue walks with this one, but I don't know. I never quite trust Purdue enough. Last year they got trounced out fairly early when they shouldn't have. Let's see their strength of schedule here was 8th. That's really strong. So that gives me a little pause on them, especially at 27 and 8. 8th strongest schedule. Win against Michigan, that's huge. Win against UCLA, that's huge. Win against Nebraska, huge. Wisconsin, I might be undershooting Wisconsin with how many of these teams they've beaten. Wow, lost to Ohio State. That makes me question, but we'll go backwards on that. I think Purdue's coming out of this one. Just this strength of schedule was amazing. They're on a streak of wins against teams that are relevant here. I think Purdue's hitting. Now let's look at some dogs. BYU Purdue. You know, this bothers me for BYU. They have a whole team out. I think Purdue's probably clipping that. Arizona, Purdue. I think Arizona wins that. 2-1 seeds. Let's try and get our way out of some 1-1-1-1. Florida, Clemson, Iowa. Let's explore this a little bit. Record versus top 25, 1-8. That screams bad. This does not look good at all. 3-5 is not much better, but this is horrible.
Just so you know, Blue, Iowa literally, like, their entire offense revolves around one player. So if he doesn't have a good game, like, they're toast. And Clemson plays pretty good defense.
Yeah, I don't like this injury report for Clemson, but
I think Kurt made a good point. Something like when Iowa's best player scores less than 15 points, they haven't won a game this year. So if you're Clemson, I guess all you do is try to hold that kid to nothing, and you'll probably win.
I'm going Iowa on it. And again, the reason I really don't like this injury report with that many guys out. Ugh, I'm going to switch my game here. Recent loss to Ohio State, Nebraska, Michigan, Penn State, Maryland, Purdue, Wisconsin. These are not winners. Vanderbilt, McNeese. I'm going to go Vanderbilt unless you have some real sharp insight onto McNeese. 10-0 coming into it. But look at the teams they're playing here, right? I couldn't point you within 10 miles of anybody but SF Austin.
McNeese was the big Cinderella last year. A lot of people liked McNeese last year. A lot of people like McNeese again this year. They play lockdown defense, top 50 defense in the country. Have a solid offense, but a lot of people like them because of how good they play defensively. A lot of people like that upset against a Vandy team who I think they had a pretty good SEC tournament. They're not a bad team at all.
Give me a win against Florida, win against 10, Ole Miss, lost to Kentucky, which is, not good to see, but not horrible. The loss to Arkansas is kind of, I can write that off for 4 other wins in a row here. So if I just look at the last 5 games, they're coming in 4-1. That's pretty hot. I'm going Vandy. I don't think the slipper is not slipping on to McNeese. Our upset's already Troy for this round. I'm not doing a 12 versus a 13.
I mean, your upset's Troy. But yeah, no, Vandy's a good team.
For some reason, I don't remember why, I'm not liking UNC this round.
Their power forward is injured.
And that's what it is. Is that Caleb Wilson? Yeah, Caleb Wilson was their key player. And he's out.
And he's out.
And VCU is coming in 9-1 against a bunch of nobodies. Well, Dayton's not nobodies. St. Joseph's not. George Mason. These are at least like the upper round of nobodies. Yeah, we're clicking.
Yeah, no. They play a solid schedule this year.
Streak the schedule on them. 56? Damn. That's impressive, actually.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't sleep on
those two here. Them. Clemson and Duke. Yeah. They've got some good games going, but
VCU's top 50 in offensive rating, 63rd in defensive rating. Like, this is not a team to sleep on. They play in a conference on their strength of schedule. They play the top 100 defense against the top 100 defenses in the country. So it's not like they played nobody on defense. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like VCU, and with the injury to what's his name from UNC, a lot of people are jumping on the VCU bandwagon. Just another point. Their only loss since January 14th was to St. Louis, who's also in the tournament. Outside of that, they made a run. They won their conference tournament. It's not like they didn't play. They lost to Vandy in a close game. But, I'm sorry, they lost to Vandy by 15. They lost to an NC State team who people thought kind of maybe should have been in the tournament. They lost by 3 to Utah State. That's another tournament team. Their losses are to tournament teams, so it's not like they lost to a bunch of nobodies.
We're going with the VCU upset there. St. Mary's. Love me some St. Mary's. Whether they're the Gales, am I correct in that?
Correct.
Not ready to do that yet. We'll revisit this one. In fact, let's do it right now. Houston versus St. Mary's. Oh, it's so hard to pick against Houston with the experience from last year. And yeah. You know what? We're sticking with the gut feeling there. Houston, VCU, Illinois.
Illinois has a lottery pick guard on their team. They have a real basketball player.
Wagler.
So yeah, they got a big time player on their team.
All right, let's look at Vandy, Troy. I'm not even going to need to look at that one. We'll go Vandy, Florida, Clemson, Florida. Oh, how good is Florida? Let's actually go figure this out now.
They just lost to Vandy.
They just lost to Vandy? I think.
Yeah, in the SEC tournament, but that might be a revenge game.
Or it might be I've already beat you and I know how to do it. This is an interesting game if it happens.
Yeah.
I think this could be one of the better, what is this, Sweet 16 matchups?
Yeah. You got Houston beating St. Mary's, right?
Yeah, I got Houston beating St. Mary's.
That game might be over under 125 points. They're like two of the slowest teams in the country. That'll be the slowest. That'll be definitely slow. The slowest game, boringest game of the tournament will be that Houston St. Mary's game if it happens. Illinois got one of the best players in the country on their team. Houston's just got. They didn't bring everybody back from last year, but they're one of the most mature teams. Ton of experience. Coach has a ton of experience. They had one bad week this year. They lost 3 games in a row. They lost to Iowa State, Arizona, and Kansas. They lost 3 straight right there. Outside of that, they lost to Texas Tech, Tennessee, Arizona. They didn't lose anybody that's outside of the 1, 2. The worst KenPom rating was Kansas. They're 21st in the KenPom. I mean, Houston's good.
Houston's good. Gun to your head, you picking Houston or Illinois here?
I'm picking Houston.
Then I'm picking Illinois.
Fine.
That's how we're going with it, guys. Michigan. Right, just going to go ahead and crack that out there. It doesn't matter who comes out of these other games. St. Louis is interesting to me here. They're ranked technically ahead of Georgia, so that's something. They did not face a top 25 team. Strength of schedule was not that crazy off from Georgia. They're coming 6-4 and 6-4. Both of them have 2 losses in the last 5 games. I don't know, man. St. Louis is one of those teams where I just want to pick it on like more of a Cinderella type of thing going on here. And you know what? I'll have to do it. They're going to lose to Michigan anyways. Akron, Texas Tech. You know, this is the type of stuff that bothers me. Their best player is out.
Kurt thinks Akron might be able to hang around.
Yeah, Toppin's out.
Now, which one of these pushers is going to get demolished by Michigan? Kurt liked Akron. Let's keep with the Akron lingo and push them in. Big year for Ohio, fucking middle of nowhere teams, huh? So SMU versus Miami, Ohio. That game's at 9:30 Eastern tonight. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, that's a late game.
I fucking love Miami, Ohio State. I think they're winning, and I think they're going. Now this one, there you go. See, they think our playing game's going to happen here, Miami, Ohio State. Strength of schedule is atrocious for Miami, Ohio State, though. Let's go look at the last few wins here. Ohio, Toledo, West Michigan, East Michigan, Bowling Green, Massachusetts, Ohio, Marshall, Buffalo. These are not good teams, and they did not win by a whole bunch. So while I can give them some credit to hop in through the first round, I'm not going to give them beating Virginia. Santa Clara, I think Santa Clara is taking Kentucky. I have no faith in Kentucky whatsoever. They have not been a good team. We want to stroll in there again. I bet some of these losses that Kentucky's come off of are absolutely horrendous. All right. They're not as bad as I thought they would be, but yeah, I just don't trust Kentucky at all. They did play a good strength of schedule. Have more wins versus the top 25. But as I believe you guys were talking about it earlier, Santa Clara hasn't been in like since Steve Nash was on college ball or something along those lines. That just screams they got a little bit more to play for than a downtrodden Kentucky team, which has gotten their ass handed to them half the season. I don't think you're going to fight me much on that one, are you, Cass?
No, I like Santa Clara to maybe make a little run here. They like to throw up the threes, so they catch hot, and they'll be a fun team to watch for a couple rounds.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're right on that too. This could be. I don't know much about Iowa State. Let's see.
They're good.
Yeah,
Iowa State's
going to
pretty
lose
good.
at some point, right? So let's fucking spice it up a little bit here and say Santa Clara's going to get through and play Virginia.
It's your bracket.
Yeah, it's my bracket. We're going for it, and we're also going to say, just on the hell of it, Santa Clara's going to get through and get trounced by Michigan. Now, the biggest question we have left is Vandy versus Illinois. This would be, I'd want to see this game. This is a game I'm going to watch. I'm going to watch. I'm going to bet on this game. And we're going to take Illinois. That leaves us as a final four of Duke, Illinois, Arizona, Michigan. Not the most exciting final four. Duke, definitely. Arizona, definitely. Think over Michigan. Let's actually check this before I go start picking stuff. Yeah, I don't like that Michigan's already banged up somewhat, so we'll give that to Arizona and the final winner of Duke. I think Boozer are going to do it through. I think Pedigree wins out here. And if I have to do the score, I'm going to go 125. Look at that. Now we're even.
A low-scoring game.
A low-scoring game.
Both teams are very good defensively, though, so that's not That's not a bad take.
Well, I think we get into this thing where like it's the championship game. Kids get kind of they need to find their legs underneath them and get used to the bright lights. I'm sure it'll happen in the Final Four as well. But those championship games are normally in large stadiums where they've got that like sunken pit off to the side of them. The lighting can get kind of weird. It's bright lights are shining extra hard. You get off to a slow start. You don't hit your first few shots. That truncates the score somewhat. So I always like taking the under on these championship games as well. Last year, when I won, I believe I had the final score at 121 or 118, somewhere around there, and boosted me up in the standings a little bit and gave me the third place win versus a bunch of other guys who had a really high score.
Yeah, you're going to get that in a Houston game. So
yeah, price is right? Go under. This is my bracket, ladies and gentlemen, although there's probably 0 ladies on the stream. If you're here, we appreciate you greatly. Thanks for joining us for this hour of fun. Just to recap over here, in the East, we have Duke coming out of game 1 here, TCU, St. John's, Kansas, South Florida having the upset on Louisville. Reasoning again on this was I believe Louisville had a bunch of players injured. Also, I rather like South Florida. Michigan State coming out of North Dakota State. UCF getting the upset on UCLA. UConn clacking them and heading off against Michigan. Michigan winning that matchup, losing to Duke. Over on the West, Arizona all the way through is about all you need to know. The major upset, High Point, who's coming off a streaker on hot right now, likes to shoot. Hopefully we can get some good fun going there. Somebody needs to get upset at some time. BYU over Texas, Gonzaga over Kennesaw, doing Miami and Purdue straight there. Purdue over BYU to lose to Arizona. Excuse me. We have Florida, Vandy, and then North Carolina losing to VCU. That was one of the big upsets of the first round that we're projecting here. Reason being, this is a hot streak if you've ever seen one. Now, it's not the craziest strength of schedule, but that's also not like 100th or 200th, right? That is not a terrible strength of schedule to be 56 if you're VCU coming out of the Atlantic 10. This is a hot team going into the tournament. You want to be a hot team. Also, Caleb Wilson is injured, which is the star player for North Carolina. So we're taking VCU out of that. Illinois, St. Mary's, and Houston. We have Houston topping St. Mary's and then losing to Illinois. Vandy hopping through Troy on my upset here. This was just me being contrarian to the rest of the world here. Points per game. Troy just likes to shoot, right? But we'll see how that goes. They're also not doing too bad here, coming off a nice little hot streak. So we'll see that one come through. And eventually Illinois clacks up to the Final Four. Over here, all the way through Michigan, Georgia, St. Louis. I'm taking St. Louis. Akron. This is one of the big upsets. Big year for mid-state Ohio teams, right? Non-major cities. We think this could be one of the biggest upsets. I didn't know Texas Tech had strength of schedule at 3rd, which gives me pause to reselect this, but I'm going to carry through with it. JT Toppin is out. That's what it was. So their star player is out. So we're going to go ahead and ping for an upset there. We'll ping for another upset here off Hofstra in Alabama. We're going to go Akron makes it in to get trounced by Michigan. I'm a big Miami, Ohio State fan. They're coming off of Cinderella. Making it through that first round would be a huge win for that team. That's about the best they can ask for, though. They get kicked out by Virginia. Kentucky, I would not put a single dollar on Kentucky for anything this year. Santa Clara to the win. Iowa State to the win. Santa Clara beating Iowa State, getting a Cinderella run into the Sweet 16, and then eventually losing to Michigan in the Elite 8. Then on to the final teams here. We're going Duke, Illinois, Arizona, Michigan, with Arizona and Duke facing off. And again, I think what takes it in this is the pedigree of dual boozers, the pedigree of Duke. I think they just have it coming off a really, really tough schedule and a really, really strong win streak here on 10 out of the last 10. That's amazing. I know Arizona's doing good here, but if you look at these two strengths of schedule on the last 10 games, I think we can all agree here that the more impressive record by far is going to fall to Duke. And I think they carry that all the way through, get to cut down the net at the end of the day. You got all that, TB? You got your bracket locked and loaded? You entered the contest? You going to win the Kalshi Billion? What's going on here, buddy?
I ordered food 3 hours ago, and it's not here.
Jeez, your Uber Eats.
That's my current update on my evening.
The guy's angry. He's angry.
I haven't eaten. I had beef jerky today. Things are getting dire over here. But yeah, bracket is submitted. I have a few different picks, but for the most part, we're going to have two very similar brackets in this group if they do anything.
Well, I appreciate it. Everybody have a good March Madness. Holler at levr.bet. Go there, get your March Madness picks down. We're running a $5,000 contest right now for prize pool, which we may up depending on participation of the contest. So there's some good fun to be had there. Get some leverage bets in if you're really on to any of these. We're going to be having almost every single game. I believe every single one that they give us odds for, we will go ahead and throw on to the board there for picks. Appreciate everybody hollering on here for the time, spending your evening with us, walking through some brackets. If you got anything you want to share a bracket with us, feel free to post it in the Discord, holler at it on Twitter or X, I guess I should say. Tag us in it. We'll give you some feedback, tell you if it sucks, tell you if it's good. Just have fun, right? March Madness is one of the most entertaining times of the year for sports. We get to watch a bunch of kids fight for their lives. Nothing better than pure basketball, in my opinion. So let's go have some fun.
Yeah, go make some leverage bets on Levr. There's also NBA tonight. We got some later games, so get a little practice in before the tournament games.
Yeah, if you want to know, my big thing is it's already started right now, but let me see what the score is here. Boston is going to beat the ever-living piss out of the Warriors.
I took Boston tonight, too.
Yeah, Boston 5X, and I don't even think there's a snowball's chance in hell the Warriors have any sort of luck with this game.
Caz is a big Boston fan.
Love it.
Yeah, I think we've talked about his weird sports rotation before.
All right, gentlemen.
What's your baseball team?
The Red Sox.
Okay, your Red Sox, Boston, and then Green Bay Packers.
I like the Red Sox, the Celtics, the Bruins, and then I like the Packers.
How did you skip the Patriots?
You can't like the Patriots, man.
Yeah. By the way, when I was a runt, the Patriots sucked. So I wish they'd go back to that too. They need a couple years of just sucking. A couple more years. I know they just came out of it. They need to go back now.
I don't count that Super Bowl as a Super Bowl. That was like they fell down the stairs and landed in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. I little insider. I did say to TB earlier, probably a week ago, my big pick for the NFL season futures is the Broncos to win the AFC. I think they got a bad luck last season, and they look even better this year after some moves in the offseason. Broncos. I think they're value money right now.
I still don't even know how their quarterback broke his ankle or whatever happened. I watched that 5 times and couldn't find the play.
It happens.
Yeah. Sports, injuries can happen. And again, injuries can happen. That's why we're not picking North Carolina here. All right. So no North Carolina. That's my lock of the first round is VCU over NC. So everybody have a good one. I think we are wrapping up here.
All right. Cheers, gentlemen. Have a good night.